Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you on Tuesday, October 13. Don't forget, we also have the show going on my podcast, roundthecabin.com, 9 o'clock tonight, every Tuesday, 9 p.m., except for when things go completely wrong. Now, let me segue that into when things go completely wrong, and you're on a whole other planet. Man, your life is going, well, not just tits up, but completely bad times, and you might just find it to be terminal. Book I'm talking about is going to be a book report segueing into a video. Actually, a movie that's currently still in the theaters. I'm talking about no other than Andy Weir's The Martian. This book is completely badass. Why is it completely badass? Because it is built using current, if not slightly beyond us, slightly in the future, technology that we do have. The only real, license for this that the guy actually really took was he kind of skewed a couple things with the math. Doing one thing would have probably blown the guy up. Or something else where, on Mars' surface, Mars has almost no atmosphere. As a matter of fact, if you had a Force 5 hurricane, it would be pretty much that's pretty much what it would be like. Just a piece of paper hitting you. It would literally have almost no balls. There's so little atmosphere, you would need to have somebody, literally almost touching their ear to scream at them for them to hear you, because there's so little air molecules to give vibration from that person's voice to that person's ear. Also, because the way the technology is for the atmosphere, from your feet to the top of your head, you've just gone up like 20 degrees, because there's so little atmosphere, the temperature change is dramatic. Also, there's very little atmosphere to protect you from radiation. So if you get the radiation, you are a dead duck. And cosmic rays and whatnot, you're going to have almost no protection. That's another liberty they took in this video, movie, book, call it what you will. It's going to be out on video very, very shortly. But I saw it in the movie theater with, 3D. Very good movie for 3D, by the way, because the landscape and such was actually shot out in the Gobi Desert, or in Lebanon or something, but it replicates Mars almost to a T. Matter of fact, that's probably some of the things NASA uses to train their guys, is they find topography and they find geography that looks very, very similar. So you're not getting a big stretch of the imagination to say, okay, they shot it over here with red desert, it's going to look like Mars, because Mars basically looks like a red desert. Now, case in point, the storyline is such that dude is there with a group of people. They've flown however long it takes to get from Earth to there. I'm not going to give away the timeline information. You guys can figure that out when you watch the movie or read the book. Takes however long to get there. They're on the Mars surface. They got a habitat that's inflatable. They're doing tons of experiments and what have you. Satellite information goes back to Earth. There's always satellites going around Mars and checking things out. They see this monster storm. Now, you got to remember that's poetic license here, because, the storm wouldn't really do anything except, not much. So this monster storm is coming at them. It is going to be way outside the operating parameters for the habitat to, one, deal with, or potentially deal with. It's down low on the ground. Probably it's just going to, buff it around a bit. Hopefully it stays put. But the biggest thing they're worried about is the liftoff device, or the MAV. I'm going to use this Thai peanut sauce bottle just to go show you. Now, the way that the thing is jiggered up in such a way is, what happened is they landed the habitat. It's set up by itself. Inflated, did everything it needs to do. They landed the MAV, the Mars something vehicle. I forget what the actual is, but what it is pretty much, it's a liftoff device to get them back to the surface, to their ship, back to the ship. They can turn around and come back here. The ship's probably now in orbit around Mars' surface. So, case in point, or it did a drop-off, turned around and went back home on automated, basically, it's now looping between Mars and Earth. Has a ion engine, which is technology we're not quite there yet. Also needs to have a reactor on board to generate power to make the reactor work, but, it's not that far ahead of what we can do nowadays. We have ion engines, we just don't have them powerful enough to make it worthy of the book. Coming along, maybe 20, 40, 50 years in the future. It's coming. So anyway, the MAV is out there. Everything's getting buffeted. Lots of wind. The wind starts blowing the MAV off its level axis. The pilot is like, dude, if we go to 12.5, we're going over. 12.5 degrees is the flip over point. So the thing's starting to go, and they're like, okay, well, here's the problem. We got to get the hell off of here. And they're hightailing it out of the, the habitat, getting to the ship. In the process of getting to the ship, the massive antenna array on top of the hab rips loose and smacks into one of the astronauts, and the guy's name is Mark Watney. Well, he basically gets just paddle-driven by this antenna and just knocked out of their sight. I mean, there's so much crap flying around, they can barely see each other. They can barely see the ship. I mean, pretty much they're almost in, like, contact range trying to keep track of one another, trying to get to the ship. So, anyway, Mark's gone. But they're like, okay, well, we know he's here somewhere. You know, he's still in the... Boo, his biomonitor goes flat. They're like, oh, crap, he just crashed. His suit just had... His suit is breached. He's done. Because once you lose atmosphere, there is so little atmosphere in Mars, you're done. Okay? So, anyway, I'm not giving away anything in the story. This is stuff that's all been in all the previews and the trailers and whatnot. You guys know all this stuff. Well, he wakes up. What happened was he got speared by a piece of the antenna. It punctured his suit, created the fact that he was bleeding, and punctured the biomonitor, so basically knocked that offline. Nobody knows he's still alive. Well, he's bleeding out. The suit is leaking. Well, he's bleeding. The blood forms a seal. Now, this is where it's going to get a little technical here. What's happening is essentially the suit is smart. The suit is actually very smart. And it's going, okay, I'm not getting good circulations. Things are really getting screwy here. Keep the organism alive at all costs. Well, there's one procedure that it can do. It's getting loaded up with CO2 and nitrogen and all the rest of the stuff because there is a lot of nitrogen in Mars' atmosphere. That's actually one of the major components here. So anyway, the suit is getting really, really loaded up. But it can do a purge. It literally blows out the atmosphere and it replaces it with O2, like pure oxygen. So literally, pure oxygen for the human body is not good. If you breathe pure O2 for too long, it'll fry your nerves, it'll cook your brain. It's just not good for you. So he wakes up, his low air alarm is screaming, his massive O2 concentration alarm is screaming. Both these things are going beeper, 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 beeper. He comes to and he's like, oh, snap, things are really bad. And he goes to get up and he's like, okay, things are really, really bad. He's like half buried. The crew lifted off because they had to. So they're gone. He's still on the surface. They're under the mindset of he's dead. We left him behind. OS. This really sucks. One of our group we left behind. But he's dead. This really, really sucks. We couldn't save him. So they're in the process of heading home. Watney recovers somewhat, basically gets himself cut free of the stuff, gets inside, salvages some stuff, gets himself to the port where he's surviving. Now, the thing is, it was only supposed to be a 30-day mission. But it's a 30-day mission with 6 people's food stuff on board. So if you stretch that out, just eating normally 180 days. If you start rationing, you can make it last a year. If you start really, really, really rationing, you can kind of go a year and change. So he's going, okay, I have 400 some odd days worth of food, blah, blah, blah. A rescue mission, even if they knew about me, would be, you know, how many days to get to Earth, how many days to get back to Earth, how many months time to travel, what have you. Even the distance for communication is like somewhere in the order of 12 to 20 minutes. You know, because as we're going around, we're both going around the sun, but we're going around at different speeds. Mars' orbit is bigger than ours. My very energetic mother. So, one more planet outside of us. Now, the thing about it is the time for transmission and what have you, well, that's irrelevant because dude's antenna's gone. He can't communicate anyway. So he gets the mindset, he gets the brainstorm because, one, they don't really go into it in the movie, but they do go into it in the book. He is a PhD in botany. He has a PhD in mechanics. So this dude is scary smart in a couple sciences. So he goes, you know what? We were supposed to be here for Thanksgiving. I wonder. So he goes in there and he finds some potatoes. You know, potatoes they were basically going to, like, cook up and they were going to have their Thanksgiving dinner. He goes, you know what? If I get some dirt and I bring it in and I mix up a bunch of human poop with it as fertilizer, potentially I could start growing potatoes because I cut the eyes off and basically stick them in there. Well, that's exactly what it does doing. Now, there's some science things that don't quite work there, but it sounds good, okay? So he's growing potatoes to survive on potatoes. Now, the other thing, too, is also he goes, I got to get communication reestablished. What do I do? Hey, we've sent a bunch of probes over here. So he gets into one of the rovers, figures out how to make it drive further, goes out, gets the little lander guy, gets, of course, the base unit, brings those back, hooks it all up, bing, bang, boom. Next thing you know, he is using a lander, which was never designed for communication, but he's using a lander by rebooting the thing and telling NASA, hey guys, I'm still around. Of course, NASA's going, ah! 2 months go by before they even think about telling the crew on the Ares, which is the ship that's basically going back and forth from Earth to Mars. It's called the Ares. If you go on areslive.com, it boots you to the YouTube channel. You can watch the videos. There's like some background information, like, you know, like funny crew movies where they're talking about like doing like various parts of training and what have you. But I don't want to make this video too terribly long, so I want to give you guys kind of, you know, like a way to think this thing through. So he now has to survive. He has to basically figure out how to get back off of Mars. And, of course, Mars, talking to Earth, is a long ways off. Earth has to figure out how to get dude more food. And, of course, how to get him home. Because a guy dead up on Mars is not a good thing if he's still alive and going, "Hi, guys, I'm still alive. How's everything going?" That's not good. But the mind spring of all this information that has come out of this book is really kind of cool because NASA actually gave a lot of technical support to the movie. Case in point, 50 pages of the script is NASA that is in The Martian. They actually said, you know, we're free to use by, you know, pay for profit, come out of corporations, but we're paid and funded by the taxpayers. If you're going to use our stuff and you're going to use basically a lot of our mind thinks, you are going to do it with good science. So they literally came in and gave active technical support to the movie. So you see a lot of vehicles, you see a lot of the suits, you see a lot of the stuff that's being utilized is not a far stretch from current technology and or just the way that we do things and or the way that we think things through. So a lot of the vehicles and what have you are not like this Battlestar Galactica kind of looking thing or something from Star Wars looking thing. It looks something like what human beings from, you know, Terra would be flying around. Now, how much is this stretched out? Well, it's stretched out to the point that it has now gotten to popular mechanics. Popular mechanics is now going through the mindset to go, okay, what does it actually take to get to Mars, live on Mars, eat on Mars, and survive on Mars? Now, this is the dirty, dirty little secret. The movie was going to come out, ching, 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 right after NASA announced that they found flowing water on Mars. How's that for a nut kicker? Yeah, they actually rode the press to talk about water on Mars to bring out the movie. Kind of a little bit of cross-promotion. I'm going to break off on this one, folks. But I'll tell you what, man. If you want a hell of a good read, this is available on Kindle. This is available on e-reader. This is available also as, you know, the standard book now. And the new publication or the new print version has Matt Damon on the cover as opposed to, you know, the little astronaut guy. Because they said, you know, an astronaut half buried really doesn't look that cool as opposed to Matt Damon. Matt Damon doesn't look that cool in my book. He actually played it really well. He's an okay actor, I guess. I really don't particularly like him, but he actually did an okay Mark Watney, and I thought the movie was good. Mrs. Dude saw it with me in 3D, and she thought it was a decent flick. So, that being the judge of, like, you know, non-science type person basically going in and watching this type stuff, she's like, yeah, it seems like a pretty good standard space movie. I mean, they pretty much got the science down. It looked pretty cool. Yes, there's a lot of stuff they could not get in here from, oh, geez. 369 pages, or 89 pages, almost 400 pages of stuff they could not fit in a 2-hour or even a 3-hour movie, but they did a pretty damn good job, and it's actually a very decent flick. Ridley Scott, for this time, he finally made basically human versus the planet versus human versus aliens. Maybe that's a nice turn. Versus the big creepy crawly, you know, H.R. Geiger style things coming at you. It's pretty much just the planet is trying to kill you, and you have to survive. Mark Watney, you're a steely-eyed spaceman. Oh, good stuff. I'm going to bring up on this one, folks. Eco Cape 10 Ring, as always, you know it, you love it. Read The Martian. If not, see The Martian. It's also on video book. Good times. I'm going to bring up on this one, folks. See you guys.